Ooh, what a morning. Not a big sleep last night, so a bit of a crazy morning as far as energy levels, balancing out, doing my praying, my meditation, my reading, my writing. Took a little bit of a delay to get it all done, but we got it there, we got that, all that stuff done. Today's just going to be a quick chat. I'm aware of some of the comments and feedback. I should call it feedback. Some of the feedback I've got regarding talking for too long on these things. So I get that. I'm trying to share everything in 1 minute or one video or one day or whatever. So I gotta calm down a little bit and put things out in sections and segments, I think. So lesson learned, and I appreciate the feedback and thank you to those who took the time out to point those things out. But today I wanted to talk a little bit about how the perception of things can change your reality. And this might sound a little fancy and whatever, but it's actually just meaning that whatever it is that you believe will always be whatever you see or what you think or what you feel in your world. Now, there's a little analogy that I've always used that I've recently reformulated as far as how I explain it, which makes a little bit more sense. And that is, I used to tell people, look, how many of you are there in this world? How many of you? And for the most part, we've all been told to repeat the same thing. So everybody says essentially the same thing, including myself when I was first asked the same question. And that is, the answer is there's only one of me. I'm very unique. It's just me. I'm the only one who's like this in this whole world. Now, if you subscribe to that ideology or you believe that, then it wouldn't make sense for the next part, which is the part I'm trying to talk about. And that's why I sort of brought up this part first, this first part of the question. I believe there's not one version of you out there. I believe there are millions of you out there. And those millions are essentially let's say I've met 1 million people in my life in passing, or said hello to, or people have just seen on the street, or people that I know, family, friends, everything. Let's say I've come in contact with 1 million people on this earth. In the 45 years I've been on here, I've met 1 million people. This is an example. Therefore, that means that there is actually 1 million versions of me out there, because those 1 million people will all have a different thought of who I am. They'll all have a different ideology within themselves, in a belief system within themselves, which then perceives me differently. That guy might say this about my height, that guy might say that about my height, but my height is the same. But there's two different variations of, perceived height. So my ideology is more along the side of there are as many versions of you as there are people who have met you, or have remembered you, or have thought something of you. Now, are they all correct? No. You kind of are the gatekeeper of all of those things. You would be the only person that would know all those things. But you'd be surprised how many of those people think things about you that you do not think about yourself, that you do not see about yourself, that doesn't resonate with you, that you might even think is negative. Let's say 50,000 people of 1 million I've met thinking I'm an absolute piece of shh. I don't think I'm an absolute piece of shh. But hey, there's 50,000 people out there that think I am. For whatever reason, doesn't matter. It's their ideologies, it's their belief system. You can't change their beliefs. So what I'm trying to get to is that if you believe in that, and that there are millions of people, so therefore 1 million versions of you, it makes more sense that on this earth, if we see Earth as a video game, you have, 8 billion people on this Earth right now? There are 8 billion players inside the one game. That's one side of it, seeing it, which is what most people will believe. I'm on this Earth, and I'm sharing it with the other 8 billion people on this Earth, and this Earth has rules and laws and things that make it be what it is. I fit inside that. I exist inside that, and therefore I'm one of 8 billion people sharing this world. Now, in a lot of cases, that's probably quite correct as far as we are all sharing this earth. This is true. There is only one, yes. But the version of what we call reality is based on who you are. And who you are is based on what you've been through, what you believe, and what you can somehow work out in the moment. If I can work out a problem in this moment, then that's a reality to me. That's a truth. I'm not a big fan of my truth, your truth, but I kind of can relate to what that kind of can mean in a way. Like there's a reality and a truth to me right here in this moment, but it doesn't mean it's a reality or a truth as far as, on God's green earth or in this universe or in the spirit realm, depending on, whatever faith you have or don't have. So not everything is an absolute truth. Is the sky blue? Is the general example of that's an absolute truth. But the truth actually is the sky is not blue, it's a reflection, but technically, let's say it is. The way that I see the world is that there is a computer, which is the world, not a game. And that computer has 8 million games on it. You are the only person playing your game. If you perceive the world the way that you do and nobody else can and does, then there's no way anyone else will ever understand what you mean, what you see, what you seek, what you think, and what you perceive to be your truth. You are very completely unique in that perspective. Therefore, it's more like there are 8 billion games being played on this one computer, on this one server, versus there is one game with 8 billion players in it. There are some things that will probably be contradictory here, that we do need to share this earth. We do need to be consciously aware of it and not have absolute destruction and warfare everywhere. This is true. But what I'm trying to get to is your perceived reality. What you think is true, your truth, reality, non-reality. It's more of either there is no one else out there like you, so therefore how you see things and how you perceive things is completely unique. And if that is the case and you believe in that, then that means that you are one of 8 billion different games being played on this earth versus 8 billion different players in the one game. Some people see things this way, some people don't. I've lived multiple different lives, as some people like to call it, different existences, as far as, traveling the world in different ways and working in different types of environments with different types of people from all over the world. And I've learned a lot about these things upon reflection, that people see the world completely different. And there are different levels to this. There are different hierarchical statuses. There are different wealth statuses, everything. And the person at the top of the wealth status doesn't see the world the same way the person in the middle of the wealth status sees it, or live that experienced life the same way. There are different levels to this. Now, on top of that, is one better than the other? Absolutely not. They are all there, and they are all available, and they are there to be seen, to be grabbed, to be used, to be able to, get something from. A lot of people believe in this, in exchange of value, like you get something from me, I get something from you. We're both happy. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as we're both happy with the exchange, then it's a good deal, it's a good transaction or whatever. Some people believe you need to leave more behind. Some people believe you need to have less, whatever that may be. Your belief system, your ideologies, how you've grown up, what your religious views may be, spiritual views may be, will all shape and mold your game, your rules, how you see truth, how you see reality, and how you see the world. There's a simple thing in psychology, very basic, it's called the ABCs, which obviously represents simple things anyway, the ABCs, and that's the action, the belief, and the consequence, A, B, and C. If the action is the same, but the belief systems are different, then the consequences change. If the glass is to roll off of the countertop, and there's 3 people there watching it happen, all 3 of those people are seeing exactly the same thing, the same action. But all 3 people have different belief systems of what they will think will happen when the glass rolls off. One person may think, oh, it's just going to bounce on the really hard part of the bottom, and we'll be okay. The glass will be fine. Therefore, his consequences are, it's okay, let it drop. Then the second person's belief system might be, oh, it's going to fall on the edge. It's going to crack and make a bit of a mess. I don't really have the time to clean it. It's going to suck. So they're kind of like, oh, in two minds about reaching for it or not, or, oh, this is just going to be irritating and annoying. And the third person thinks this is going to be the worst thing that's going to happen to them on the whole day or the whole week, and they're going to share about it all to everyone on their Instagram, social media, Facebook, because they believe the glass will go everywhere. We'll step on it, we'll have cut feet, there'll be shards of glass everywhere under the couch, and it's going to go there, and I'm not going to see it at first, and then my kids are going to run on it, and it's going to cause havoc, and my dog's going to cut his paws. And so to them, it's like the worst thing that can ever happen. You got three completely different belief systems, therefore creating three completely different consequences, but of the same action. And the world is like this. What I believe will happen when aliens finally are revealed is different than what Bob over here is going to believe will happen when aliens are finally revealed. But the truth is, the aliens will be revealed the way that the aliens will be revealed to both of us equally in exactly the same way. If you don't have any fear based on what you think, then you can't be living in fear. And just believe that. It is based on what you think. It is not an objective truth. It is based on what you think is true. Now, in saying that, it is true to you, then it is true to you. That's honest. That's real. That's raw. But it's also it has an ability to be changed. Your perception can be changed. Your belief system can be changed. We're not all stuck in the way that we think. I used to believe we were. I used to believe that my childhood brought me up to be this kind of guy, and that's it. It can't change because my childhood is the deep-rooted foundation and core programming of my personality and who I am. I don't even know how many times my chameleon ass has changed. I adapt, I evolve, and I change. On a yearly basis, sometimes a monthly basis. Sometimes just having met one person and having one chat can completely change everything. Everybody's different. Be open to some of these little things I just mentioned, and see where your life will take you. It doesn't happen overnight, but it does definitely happen. From the five countries I've lived in, and the other 15 or so that I visited, the world is completely different. Every place you go. It is not solid. It is not one state, one way. Even the same thing across borders is different. So imagine when things aren't even the same. They're really different. Adapt yourself to the situations, and don't try to think the situations will adapt to you. But anyway, long-winded. I wanted to share that part. There are 8 billion games being played on this planet. You are the sole player of yours. Make it the best you can. Enjoy it while it lasts. Level up as many times as you want. Get all the latest secret codes. You can be one of those people who has to try and find ways and waste their time trying to get the cheat code to get to the top level if you like. Or you can be one of those people who likes to earn their way through by passing every level completely at 100% and not just the 80% you need to move up to the next level before you move on to the next level. It's completely up to you. But there is one thing that you absolutely need. Either way you play the game, either way you think about it, the game, reality, life, and that is your mind. Your mind needs to be set in certain ways, but with the ability to change. A mindset doesn't mean that it is set in stone. Open-mindedness is a mindset. I use fitness for that. Health, to me, is the most important value in life. I don't think anything else matters if I don't have my health. My health will be the thing that makes me cherish, adore, love, take care of, work for, everything and everyone in my life. If I don't have my health, I don't know what I have. I have the ability to be healthy, You gotta have the work ethic to keep it. Some people don't have as good a health, don't have the ability to get as high as maybe someone like the top healthy people in this world. I don't know who they are to you, so that doesn't matter. But you do the best you can with what you've got. There's not really any excuses. You might just not be able to reach the same level as some of these other people, and that's fine. They don't have the ability to see the world the way that you see it. That's your unique perspective. That's what makes you you and makes you true. So do the best you can with what you have, but focus on health, fitness, strength, eating food, sleeping well, sunlight. Those type of things that I've talked about prior are all extremely important. They make you see the world differently. They make you experience the world differently. They make you get more and different things from each interaction you have with a person, with a time, a place, a purpose, a country, a job, whatever. But anyway, I'm gonna shut this down. Just so you guys know, this treadmill is not on, okay? So you're hearing me puffing and puffing and taking breaks while I'm talking. So this is kind of a little bit of a workout. It's not just me walking backwards. If the treadmill was on, I would probably be just standing this way and walking back. But I'm leaning my butt on the bar to gain leverage. I bow down here to stop myself from crunching, and I push the belt along. It's a little bit harder at the beginning, but once you get a bit of momentum, it's okay. So that's what I'm doing, reverse walking, because I like to think that I walk a little bit differently than everyone else on this earth. Contradiction maybe, but funny. So I'm gonna go hit some gym in about a minute, and I will see you guys and girls, and everything in between there. Peace.
What's up, Gabriel?
How you doing, Barry? All right, let's see. Talk about doing lap pull down example. One of the last videos. My bad, I'm out of the shot. So I'm gonna try and do this a bit more of an informative way today. So hopefully that will make a little bit of sense to you guys. This is just a normal lap pull down machine, nothing fancy, nothing crazy about it. Simple cable. So let's see what we can do here. All right, so the first thing is when you're sitting, try not to lean back. I'm not a big fan of leaning backwards. If I am leaning back, it's for the purpose of the exercise, which I'm trying to do at the time, right? There are times and purposes where a different technique is important. You'll see me bowing a little bit back, leaning back a little bit before I pull, but that's just so the bar can clear my chin. And the reason that it looks like I'm leaning back is because I'm actually pushing forward in between each rep. If you're not pushing forward, you'd be leaning back the whole time and just pulling like this without any other movement, which is kind of what it looks like. But I like to lean forward a bit more so I get a little bit of that pre-stretch, and I allow my shoulders to sort of come up and almost disengage with my torso for a second so that I can re-engage them before I pull. Whether you see that or not, it's happening. And I know it's happening because I have a mind to muscle connection and I make sure that it happens. That's the technique. I'm gonna put some more weight on and get some actual reps out that will actually do something. Because I am trying to help and hold on to the plate whenever you change. When you change the pin out, the amount of times I've seen the weight or the machine itself come down and hit someone in the head is more than I need to count and more than I need to happen, more than needs to happen, because the weight of the bar is heavier than the counterweight of 0 plates. So when you pull the pin out, the bar wins over the counterweight. The counterweight comes up, the bar comes down, knocks you in the back of the head. A little tip there, most people don't really think about that, but hold on to the top of the plate as you're pulling the pin out. Save yourself a little bit of damage there. So I'm gonna do wide. The wider the grip is, the more of the lats you're going to be doing, different parts of the lats. I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm not trying to build anything in specific or in particular or specific, what I should have said. So I'm just going to grab what I can grab and do what I can do on any machine as I go. I'm just working out for the love of working out. I'm trying to keep in shape. I have decent shape already, so I'm just trying to maintain that. If there's ever a time in my life when I want to do some sort of competition or some sort of challenge, or have something happening in my life where I need to alter the training programming to be more specific for that, then sure, I would do that. I have a lot of friends who are doing specific things. Big shout out to, if you guys don't know Damien Ryder, go check him out. That guy is out there doing some out there stuff all the time. And a absolute beast when it comes to training. He designs things for the most part himself based on replicating the movements and adapting the training and the whatever challenge it is that he's doing into one. In fact, I think he even transforms his house and his living room into like a gym of sorts that specifically is for this one challenge. The guy just goes around just doing incredible challenges. I believe he holds, I don't know, upwards of more than 15 Guinness World Records for these type of events and stuff. But go check him out. Damien Ryder. Good looking mofo out of Australia, no homo. Really amazing dude, a fantastic story. So go give him a little bit of a follow. He's on YouTube, he's on Instagram, and he's even cooler in real life than he looks on these things. So if you get a chance to meet him and say hello, check him out. I believe he even has a couple of TED Talks out there on YouTube. So check that dude out. As far as being able to adapt and change programming, this guy's up there when it comes to that. I believe well, check out his Instagram. He's plugging a new TV show he's on. I won't say it, but go check that out. That's kind of fun. Throwback, which I'll be watching the first episodes in the next couple of weeks, which is cool. But I wanted to say, look, the workout itself today will be just a bit more informative than too crazy, too hard. I am going on a little bit of a training program, roughly, in that I don't do so many sets and so many reps. I would try and work a bit more of a warm-up set or two, and then go into 1 or 2 sets of pretty heavy, pretty hard, pretty stimulating, and then move on to another exercise from there. And I'll be going with that sort of theory today with the workouts, the way that I'm going to do it. Simply for the fact that I don't want to be too fatigued. I didn't sleep so well the last few nights. And I'm going to take that as an indicator not to catch anything as far as having a poor immune or low immune system and, catch it in the flu season and some sort of bug that's going to keep me out of the gym. So I'm going to keep it relatively low, about 50, 60, 70% maximum effort in these workouts as a whole, until I feel really nice and fresh and healthy and happy. And I measure all these things with the Aura Ring. If you're interested, let me know. Well, that thing is dope. I'm not saying it's the best, but it does what I needed to do very well. All right. Pulling, reaching and relaxing. Pulling, reaching and relaxing. This will be my second kind of warm-up set there. I have increased the weight, as you can probably see, passing through the screen, but it's not light by any means, nor is it super max weight. So I'll try and pull out about another 5 or 6, which should be around about 10 to 12. I'm squeezing at the bottom, my lats themselves. So I'm squeezing the lats at the bottom and controlling the weight back up. Squeezing, control the weight back up. I'm pulling these shoulders down before I start pulling with my elbows and arms as well. It just looks like it's all one movement, but it's because I'm relatively decent at it. I make it look good, but really, it's 2 or 3 little movements all in one. All right, so I'm gonna have a little rest period. I'm not gonna take you along that journey because it'll be boring for you. I don't have much else to say about the actual training itself. So I'm just gonna let that be the way that it is. And I'm also gonna change the battery on the camera. All right, so the bent over row machine, old school machine, bent over row. Nothing too fancy about these things. They're pretty much self-explanatory. I've got a microphone under here, so that'll be about the only thing that's a little bit strange. The grips are obviously gonna be wide, narrow, and this one has an inverted grip, or what I call an inverted grip. starting to invert. But I'm going to keep it narrow but straight. So closer grip, but with a normal straight grip, not anything angled. Nothing crazy, nothing fancy. Lean on the machine, put some weight down, use a little bit of common sense when it comes to technique, and then just make sure you're squeezing and using the muscle that you're trying to use. Try and keep your neck in alignment with your back as much as possible and not punching too much. You don't need to hyperextend either, that would probably be just as bad. Just keep things relatively normal. Pull and squeeze. Pull and squeeze. I'm squeezing the shoulder blades, kind of like a seat belt, whereas I'm trying to attach them together. Then at the bottom here, they're still attached, but they do undo here. Then they redo before I pull. Same principle as the lat pull down. You're just not seeing it because I'm not breaking it into separated robotic movements. It's all one sort of fluid movement. But if you break it down, that's what's happening. One more. All right. I did one set of this. There's a tiny small plate on there just to get a reference to the weight. Sometimes the actual machine itself weighs a decent amount, so you don't need to add too much extra plates or weighted plates to it. But this machine is actually very light, so it's super lightweight. I just did a set of 20, less the time. No need to show you guys that. That's my first little working sort of warm-up set. Now I'll double the weight on that in about a minute and do the second working set. One working set around the 12 reps, 12 to 15, and then another working set around anything between 6 to 12, to be honest. So I'm going to say 8 to 10 with a couple in the middle there. That I'm in a 2 leeway for 2 above or beyond. As long as you're exhausted in the set and working hard during the set, don't really worry too much about the reps. You can do a little bit of reflection after and do the counting. You go, yeah, okay, that was around 7, or okay, that was around 15. Then you can make an adjustment for that. It doesn't necessarily mean that a specific number of reps means anything particular. There's just a rep range. That's why it's called rep ranges. And rep ranges differ based on who you are, how you train, how you rest and recover as a whole anyway. I know plenty of bodybuilders that are huge on high reps and plenty of the tiny on bodybuilders, not being professional bodybuilders, but people who build their bodies. And a whole bunch of dudes that are tiny on 2 to 3 reps. It's just it is what it is, man. Figure yourself out. And don't worry too much about others. See what happens from there. Be a little bit smart. Do some reflection and reevaluate. Change the plan if it needs be, or stick to it if that needs be. And then just keep building on that. As I said a million times as well, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just explaining some of the stuff that goes on in my head as I'm putting these sort of training sessions together. I train 4 or 5 times a week, consistently have for the last 20 to 25 years. I haven't done everything, but I've tried almost everything. So what I mean by that is I didn't do any competitive CrossFit, but I trained in some CrossFit areas and stuff. I adapt and change my training based on those type of things I learned from those exercises, from anything from general rehabilitative, prehabilitative, health and pre and postnatal, all the way to rehabilitating athletes with disabilities as well as people with physical ailments, high-level athletes at the highest level of whatever sport they play, from tennis, basketball, volleyball, golf, and even mountaineering. And I'm sure there's a few in there that I forgot as well. It's not really about, I'm not trying to show off, and it's not about the accolades. Bodybuilders, I've had a couple of bodybuilders. I have one bodybuilder, ex-client, who's a 4-time world champion. And can probably just keep racking those things up as long as she decides to keep going. She's an absolute beast and a very good human. So check her out if you need to, now that I seem to be plugging people on here, and it's Asakul Thad. But yeah, look, anyone with the right mindset and the right ability in that discipline, with discipline, will get as far as they essentially decide to Asher is a huge proponent of that type of behavior and mentality and discipline. Absolutely crazy human being, physically and mentally and spiritually. Nothing but love for that one. Wishing her nothing but the best. She's a beast. Go check her out. Go follow her. She's a cool ass dude, chick. And by dude, chick, I mean like dude, not a dude. So yeah, before I say something else stupid, let me get my little sit in. Ugh. Narrow grip, squeezing every time. Breathing relatively consistent so my body doesn't go into a bit of a panic from lack of oxygen. Perhaps could have done a little bit more weight or reduced the waiting period between the two sets to make it feel like more weight. I think it was about 16 or 17. Either way, I had a couple left in me max. And that's kind of the stimulus I'm looking for, so I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna go over there and do some seated row. So, I'll see you. Okay, so you've seen me at this machine a few times. It is not the first. Shall not be the last either. I am in my second set. Just finished a little warm-up set. Didn't think it would be anything worth you guys checking out or being involved or part of. So this is just me stacking the plates up, but lifting them a few times as we go. So the seated row, I'm not going to be doing this with my chest against the plate. I want to make sure I'm doing machine instead of the cable. There was somebody on the cable machine. I'm just going to do machine instead. You'll see the cable row in probably my next video, where I will describe a little bit more in detail what it is that I do with the cable row a little differently. But this is just essentially just to complete the workout. I'll be sitting back this way. I have described this exercise a few times on my other videos, and I've had my body right up against the chest, using it as leverage to push against. This will not be that workout. I'll be doing it as a replication sort of the seated row, where I use my feet, which you can't see here, but I'm using my feet on the platform on the ground. I'm using that as the leverage point, as the point where I'm pushing into to create that kinetic energy transfer that I speak about. All right, then. So I have a stupid story, but I have these shoes that are laceless and contract like a laceless shoe with a remote. There's a couple of buttons on the shoe itself, but there is also an app where you can control how tight the shoe tightens up. The idea came from the old Back in the Future video, where you just put the foot in and the shoe senses your foot inside and then automatically laces up. I have a pair of those on right now, and the machine has a little bolt holding the pieces together that sticks out to the side. So when I put my foot on the plate, when I was doing the exercise, for some reason, the bolt wound up exactly with the button on the shoe and was pushing the shoe to tighten up. So my foot went completely, as 100% tight on this thing, which is tight during that set. So that was an interesting little head battle there. Do I end the set, start again? What do I do? I didn't realize it was tightening all the way up until I had already done it. So I slightly distracted set. I'm gonna do one more. Put a little bit more weight on because I got a reps of 15. I got 15 reps out with possibly another 2 or 3 left in me there. So I'm gonna try and put maybe, I'm going in kilograms. These are 20s. I'm gonna try and put a 10 on there. Some 10s just there. I'll do my third set there. I'll cut to that as I'm trying to conserve the battery. And see you guys in what will essentially be about a minute. All right, so the big boy, the big test. It's not that big. The big test for this. It's gonna be noisy, I can just tell. Apologies for that. I'm gonna crank out about 8 to 10. Let's see how we go. All right, 13, a few more than I expected, but I wasn't gonna give up on the number and not crank out essentially a good 85–90% of my capacity at that time for that set. So I just have to change the reps or the rest periods or the weight next time. I'm clearly getting a little stronger than I believe. So the next exercise is actually going to be just behind me. I'll change the camera angle, but I'll see you guys extremely quickly for the next one. The lat pull down machine in a different variation. It might have a specific name, I don't know. But it's for the lats. I'm doing a pull and it pulls down. So I'm gonna pull it out. Don't really care about the name. I'm not gonna change anything in my life. I'm gonna do 2 sets here of slightly higher repetitions to finish off. And then 2 sets of another exercise after this that I consider and classify to still be this type of movement. So it's still technically a lat or a back exercise in some way, but it will not be that to you. You will not see it as that. I'll have to do some explaining, but you'll see in a sec. There's 2 sets of here. There's nothing much to this except for just getting in the damn thing. The elbows is where you should be doing most of the pushing. So my hands essentially are just free. I just put them on here to put them somewhere, I guess. I'm not pulling with my hands. I'm not gripping the movement with my hands. My hands are relatively free. But what I do want is a stretch at the top. So I like the idea of this, for this stretch here, as I'm not that flexible from multiple shoulder surgeries and injuries. It's good for me to get that forced stretch by having those weights, the plates at the back have like a pulling effect. The weight behind me is pulling my elbows further behind me than I could do on my own. So I'm getting some stretch. Stretching is good apparently, but it's preloading the muscle. So that when it's time to contract it, as I'm pulling down like now, as it's time to contract it, all that muscle's engaged because it's being pre-stretched, preloaded in a sense. Instead of just sitting there dormant and sleepy and just going, huh, what is going on? Waking it up and saying, bro, help me out. Let's get some work done. Let's get rid of some stress, some emotional trauma, and deload the intensity of life. And the reason I said those last of the 3 parts there is that I'm a big believer in that your body, muscle, or tissue, and the organs are actually what hold the stress in your body. Your mind doesn't hold the stress, your mind holds the memories. The memories create the emotion, so they can bring you back in a certain demeanor, a certain way. Okay, I'm just literally lowering the intensity of my shoelace with the app. Because they were too tight. So the muscles themselves are what hold all the trauma. If you don't move those muscles, then you're not moving that stress, that trauma, and it just sits there stagnant, doing nothing, and creating laziness and fatigue and muscle fatigue I'm talking about. And that doesn't help you get out there, get moving. And we need to move. As human beings, we're designed to move quite intricately, which is quite fascinating to me. But for more than that, just move for longevity, for lifespan. Life is beautiful, life is amazing, life is a gift. I don't know what the statistical odds are of you being here, surviving birth and life, as well as winning the race originally. I'm pretty sure it's in the trillions. So it is a gift. That's why they call it the present moment. We are just passing through. So enjoy while you're here. And things like in longevity and aiming for things like longevity with the simple things that are free in life, like sunlight, fresh air, exercise and movement, good food, good quality food over an abundance of food. You don't need that much food. Yeah, to me, those things are a little bit more important. So moving and exercising, even the simple thing of walking 20 minutes in the evenings, first thing in the morning, downloading your thoughts, talking to the camera. You don't have to upload anything just because you talk to the camera, but it makes you feel like you're doing like a bit of journaling if you're just at least letting it out. This is what gets rid of trauma. This is what gets rid of all the stagnant frustration inside of you, because it is all held in tension and a knot inside muscles, sometimes physical, sometimes trauma through the base of memory and experiences. Sometimes just, some people like to say generational. That's fine. That's cool. That's how you got brought up. That's what your belief in. If it's belief is true to you in your mind, and it's true. It's your truth. So get some movement, get some stretching, get some exercise. Doesn't have to be much. Just get started. Now, once you start, you'll see the benefits. If you really feel depressed and sad, go get a workout in. You'll be surprised. Go for a walk. If you feel tired and sluggish, get a good sleep. Concentrate on getting good sleep. Sleep is ultimately the most important part. If there's nothing you remember about this video, remember this next part. It doesn't matter how good your diet is, and it doesn't matter how good your training program is. If you're not prioritizing your sleep, those things are completely irrelevant. They won't do what they're supposed to do. You'll be getting some workouts in, and you'll be eating better food, but they won't do anything anywhere near as close as they would and they could and they're supposed to if your sleep wasn't as good and as high quality as it's supposed to be. High quality sleep will give you a pretty good advantage on a mediocre diet and a mediocre training program. That's not even hard. We all like sleep. Just do the things you need to do in order to get good quality sleep. And it ain't that hard. I'll try and make a video of that if that's interesting to you guys, something you're interested about. I'll probably just sit at my desk and do it instead of talking here. But that is something that I believe in wholeheartedly. Sunlight, I like sand, grounding, sleep, salt, staying hydrated, water. We're at 70% water or whatever the number is. They change it all the time. It's important, extremely important. Okay. So yeah, good sleep will make up for mediocre training and nutrition. But if you're a total nutball, I wouldn't say like myself, but I know people way worse than me when it comes to this. I'm putting a lot of effort into really good diet, really good training regime, and really good sleep. And maybe that's why I am a statistical anomaly behind the majority of all these studies that come out. I don't believe that I am part of the whatever the statistical study is based on. I believe in almost all of them. I am that one in a few that is the 5% that are not, or 70% of people do this. Well, I'm probably in that 30 that don't. I'm not average in any way, shape or form. I don't believe that I am. I don't believe I ever have been, and I don't believe I ever will be. And I also believe none of us are average unless we choose to be. So if you don't want to be average, make a choice not to be. And I'm telling you now, from this profession, from this way of looking at life through health, longevity in a way, and just good wholeheartedness and good intentions, It ain't that hard to become above average because average for the bar of average is super low.
World difference, buddy.
That is exactly what I'm telling the people right now, Barry. I'm telling the people right now that is exactly what I'm doing. That is exactly what I was just saying, bro. That's exactly what I was just saying. Yeah, I'm doing a warm-up set or two to get there, and then one set to failure. Adjust the numbers and the reps based on the number you got on the next one. Simple. Nah, I'm done. I'm done.
Everyone only set to it, okay?
That's it. That's it. That's it. This is Barry, the owner of the gym. I'm going to make a video with this guy soon. He is actually one of the top wrestlers in the country. So I'm going to do a little something with you guys there at some point. He's got a big ring out the back here. I'm talking wrestling like as in, you know, World Wrestling Federation wrestling, Hulk Hogan type stuff. So I'm keen to get a little bit of that in there. That'll be fun. Maybe join and bring you guys along and then join in on that at some point. It should be quite interesting. But yeah, as I was saying, just making sure that the longevity part plays a factor in your life. You'll live a better life, even if whether you live life for longer or not. We'll never really know that. But you'll live a better quality of life and you'll see things a little differently, and then the world becomes a little bit more of a beautiful place than a cloudy, dark place that most people think it is or live inside. One more special exercise, as I promised you guys. I'm gonna pause that. There's too much talking. We got too deep, maybe a little bit more than I wanted to. But we head over there and surprise you guys with the exercise that I do for back that most of you will not believe. All out. Just to quickly explain, this exercise is essentially what most of you guys would believe or think or see as an ab exercise. And it actually is in some way. There is some abdominal resistance in this movement, but it is, I'm just doing an essentially a very basic, very simple toes to bar. You are using your abdominals a very small amount in the overall dynamic of everything. So there is some abdominal work there, but if you use the kinetic energy transfer method and ideology in this exercise, and for those of you who don't understand what that is, you can go back and have a look at a few of the other videos there. There's nothing really explaining it directly, so you may have to watch all the videos. Not such a bad idea, but anyway. As I'm pushing into one thing, if that thing doesn't move, that is the law of equal and opposite reaction. Will have that same energy I'm pushing into the item or into the place that doesn't move. It'll go and give me that energy back. Jumping is essentially this. As I push more weight into the ground, because the ground's not going anywhere, my reaction is then to come and fly off of the ground. So more weight down equals more weight up. There's people who can jump higher, can leg press more. People who have the kinetic energy transfer of that movement pattern will be more athletic. And that's why I think it's like jumping, deadlifts, not overall power in legs and squats, but those type of things make a big value in people's testing ability for athleticism. So what this is essentially just me hanging, and the part that I'm talking about is I'm pushing my arms forward, but because they're holding onto the bar, it's not moving. But because I'm pushing my arms forward, that allows me to get my legs to come up. You'll see my body will actually kind of technically come backwards a little bit to counterbalance the vertical balance of my whole body and my body weight. My back half, my hind, will go behind the bar that is essentially in the center here. And then my legs, with more weight because of the leverage of them being longer going forward, will counterbalance my hind, which has more meat and more weight in a standstill sort of position. And you'll see like a little bit of a swinging movement back and forth with the body as the legs are going up and down. It's not just up and down in control. I'm kind of swinging a little bit. It'll look like I'm swinging a little bit, but that's because I'm pushing the bar forward and the bar is not moving. So therefore the opposite reaction is for my body to go backwards. And that's why I'm saying that uses your lats. I feel this in my lats, just hanging here and pushing into the bar. I feel my whole lat turn on from here right through to here where it attaches. The leg part coming up and down is hip flexor, rectus abdominis, the six pack, the abs, and a little bit of the gastrocnemius. These are the only three muscles in the body that actually can move you forward on the plane. All right, so 1, 2, and 3 are the only three muscles moving forward, and I'll be using all three of them in one plane
movement. This is the not the posterior fascia chain, but probably the opposite of that, which is not the best to be using, but it is what it is. So this is kind of at the back in a way, and you'll see I'll be doing one set of failure here. And failure will more than likely come from my grip strength more than anything else, or ab cramp, which happens these days a little bit for some reason. But pushing forward, lifting legs, pushing forward, lifting legs. I feel this in my lats like you wouldn't believe, and that's more than likely because of the back workout I've just done. But it's also the best time to do it because it is pretty fatigued. Oof. Ugh. Oh, my grip is going. My abs are tired. Oh, from the ab workout I did a couple of days ago for another video that may be coming out soon. They had a few problems with it, so it may not ever come out. I don't do ab training, which is the whole purpose of the abs. Watch me not do abs was the video title, or the essential video title, essentially. But anyway, that's the workout for today. It's pretty simple. There's nothing complex and crazy about it. I'm just showing you guys what I do, and what I do is based on 25 plus years of doing it. I'm not claiming to be a master of anything other than the hours I've put into the gym, into exercise, into training, into practice, for myself, by myself, and doing it to myself. If you want to follow along, I appreciate it. Like, subscribe, and share. Comments will be answered. You can go follow me on Instagram, same name as this channel. I appreciate all the love, support. It is brand new for me to be talking to you like this, but it is not my first time. I've been around the block a couple of times. It's just, I feel like I need to share, I feel like I need to download, I feel like I need to let go of and release a little bit of thought, even energy, even some of this, you know, some of these little characteristically trauma-based, I should say, flaws. It's helping me heal, so I appreciate you guys listening. For those who do listen all the way through, you don't even have to listen. Just play the damn video. Helps me get to the numbers and subscription and likes and hours of viewed that I need to get to a good place with this channel, so I can get more shares and the algorithm can do what it does. I'm not doing this for me, although I do get a lot out of it. I'm doing this for you guys, so I appreciate any questions, comments. If you want a special video based on something, just drop it in the comments. If it's something I think I can share with a decent amount of knowledge or experience, I'll do it. I won't do everything you ask because I don't think it's everything I can do, but if it's something I can do, I'm more than happy to share it, or at least give my viewpoint on it. I'm also on TikTok on the same name. I'm trying to grow that a little bit there. So check it out. Gabe Says Fit, almost everywhere. And it should say Gabe Stays Fit, apparently, according to someone, which is pretty clever. But yeah, I'll see you guys on the next video as soon as that gets done. It's just me, a one-man show, recording, editing, uploading. I make mistakes. I'm by no means an expert. So it is what it is. Video production quality, low standard. Knowledge and effort, high standard. So there we go. See you guys next time.